Hello everyone, welcome to the final day of the Super United Rapid and Blitz in Croatia. And here in this final round, or in the final day, let's check out what happened to Wesley. Well, in the last round, he was playing Nepo and he had a better position with up and exchange. Look at the position carefully. All right, here Nepomniachtchi has this pass pawn on e7 and also a nail on h6. So Wesley's king is not safe. Yeah. Now, first things here is that Wesley needs to get rid of that pawn on e7. Wesley has the b and the a on the queen side. So that's a majority. He could push the pawn in d5 and d4. The two knights are protecting each other. So that is not an issue. Although the a2 knight is also a bit of a problem. Here, Wesley went for knight a4 and allowing Nepo to push d5. The second pass pawn, the pass pawn to connect. After Wesley capturing the bishop d6. The two knights now are misplaced. Okay, he took the bishop on b2, but how can you stop d7? Wesley went for knight d3. Nepo played rook e3. Knight into c5. Okay, Wesley probably thought that he has this, and he visualized that he has this protection on d7. Nepo went for knight e5. Again, how do you stop d7? Wesley went for b5. It's not just d7. Here, white also has bishop d5. The f7 pawn, knight, and bishop. After knight c1, takes on f7, king h8, take the rook, and finally d7. And Nepo wins the game. Wesley had to resign because if you take on d7, knight takes d7. b4 is too late. Yes, it is too late. Rook f3 is coming, and rook f8 is mate. Now, going back to that critical position, Wesley could have done something here to win. The first thing is to get rid of that pass pawn on e7. So it starts with rook c7. Yes, the two rooks attacking the pawn. When we are solving a problem, you check out what's the problem here, and then create a plan to, of course, solve that problem. Now, the main problem here for black is the e7 pawn. That's the main one. Get rid of that one first. Now, how can white continue? Let's say, for example, okay, a move, I don't know, rook a3. Let's just say rook e3, or maybe rook a1. So, for example, rook a1. So you have that take on e7. If the bishop goes to f1, then you can go back to c7 to protect c4. So no bishop c4, right? And what else can white do here? Because you're saving the two knights. The king maybe go to g2, and then you can go a4. What else can white do? Okay, let's just say I move like knight e5. Okay, make your king safe. Let's say king f8, moving away from the danger zone. And that's it. You can go rook to d8, take that pawn on d4, later when you have b5. But first, solve that issue with the pawn. And let's say knight e5. Okay, the main thing here is that if keeping that knight on c3 is that white cannot push the pawn on d5. If he tries to play knight e5, for example, let's just say, okay, rook takes e7 again, once again. Okay, he goes for rook e3, attacking c3. He can go knight e1. And if the rook goes back to e2, you can move that right knight back. saving, and also take that one. Sorry, take that one on d2. At the same time, then I can go back to d5 later on, keeping the d5 square. All right. So with rook c7 on, and why is this critical? Okay, Magnus was leading the field with 22.5, but in the last two games, because of tiredness, Magnus lost. And this was a critical game by Wesley. There were two critical games. I'll be showing you two critical ones. Of course, the last one against Nepo, and another one against Dominguez. Right? Okay, let's take a look at this position. Wesley was black once again. All he needs is just to hold this position as a draw. They were actually repeating moves with the knight on e3 and knight c4 here. And Dominguez decided to go for king c5. But Wesley played a bit too fast with knight takes e5 and probably thought that he could go and take the pawn. Dominguez went for bishop d5, restricting the knight. Look at that. And Wesley probably missed that move. After king c7, king d4, king d6, king e4. Now you go king c5, king e5. What an endgame by Dominguez here. The king moves away from the bishop. King takes f4. If you go closer to the bishop, king will protect it, restricting the knight. And the game is a win for white, because once the knight moves on these squares, c4, b3, c6, okay, c4, b3, c6, and b7, the bishop will simply take, and the passed pawn will just simply push all the way to g8. Now, what could have Wesley done here? This was okay. This was what I think two games before the last round. Yeah, this was critical. Again, in the end, Magnus had 22.5 points. Wesley 21. Had he drew, okay, with the draw here and a win in the last round against Nepo, he could catch Magnus with 22.5. I don't know about the tiebreak situation there, and there might be a playoff. He could have won the title, right? But this critical misses. Now, he was earlier. He was just doing knight e3. Why not go with knight e3 still? Now, if white goes for that pawn on f4, then black has king e7. That was your plan earlier. Let's just go back and what happened here, right? The king on b6, king a6. Right. White was very hesitant to go for that pawn earlier, right? To play king b6. It's the same thing. If you go king c5 here, there's king a7. Yes. So here, Dominguez went for king b6 first, and probably decided, okay, let's just go for d4. But Wesley, out of the blue, took on a5. There was knight e3, right? King d4, king e7. And how can white hold the draw after king e4? You can simply take that pawn on g2. King takes g2, and you go to that a5 pawn. Draw. You save the game. With the draw here, you get to 21.5. And again, a win in the final round. Nepo with this position. You tie with Magnus with 22.5. And probably go to the playoffs and might win the tournament. Because the other day you were able to beat Magnus. Okay, but apart from this, also this unnecessary draws in the middle of the tournament against Lagrave and against Van Forest and the others. Magnus continued to fight every single game. You were going neck and neck with Magnus. Well, why not go fight? Um, Again, it's a bit frustrating because he could have maximized his talent by just playing and not drawing these unnecessary games. But it is what it is. Okay, you could understand that probably he was just resting for some rounds, but you cannot really rest against the elite. Yeah, you just have to continue fighting. Take your chances. You are all equals. I mean, all 2-7 up, almost 2-8. So in strength, equal in strength. Take your chances and then play, fight every game. Look at Magnus. He lost the last 2 games, but still won the title. Yeah, that separates Magnus from the rest of the field. Yes, he continues fighting. And for the young people out there, again, it's all about the fight. If you want to be ambitious, if you have a goal, if you want to win tournaments, if you want to be a world champion, just keep fighting. Yeah. You lose, it doesn't matter. Move on and just again take your chances. You only live once. So while you're still alive, do it for your own pride, for the pride of your nation, for the pride of your family and friends. All right, so that was it. That was the story of Wesley in this tournament and also Magnus winning the tournament. Thank you guys for watching and thank you for supporting our channel, Charles Matches and Charles Match Entertainment on Facebook and YouTube. This is Coach Oliver. Stay safe, everyone. Bye.